What's poppin'? Emergency edition of Real Ones after Game 6 of the 2025 NBA Finals. I am Logan Murdock, and I will be joined by the great Tyler Parker. No Howard, no Raja today. Just me and Tyler talking about OKC's big loss. What can we expect from OKC in Game 7? What can we expect from Indiana in Game 7? Pascal Siakam is great. What's up with these J-Dub Scottie Pippen comparisons? That's so weird. I don't know why people are doing that. It's just such a lazy comparison. We'll get into that. We'll get into why hasn't the Ringer released the Parker tiles with me and Tyler Parker? We're going to get to the bottom of that as well. We're going to talk about all things Oklahoma. Ford Gibson, shout out to you. And we're going to talk about why I'm so pissed that I missed Caitlin Clark tonight. Still mad about that. I had to watch that weak game. Oof. Anyways, Real Ones up next.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. On the basketball court, the best players know when to pass. And off the court, you still need teammates who are there when it counts. That's where State Farm comes in. With agents and online tools to help you find the coverage you need, you can focus on what really matters, whether that's hitting game winners or just getting through the day. State Farm, with the assist. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability and eligibility vary by state.
What's poppin'? Real Ones. Logan Murdock here. No Raja Bell there or Howard Beck in the cut. Happy Juneteenth, ladies and gentlemen. But it's not one happy guest that we have coming on right now. Our guest host,
Mr. So you frame that? Why you gotta put those back to back? You have to dry here.
That was a nuts transition. We're gonna go with it. Hey.
Like this?
We're gonna go with it. That is Tyler Parker talking minutes after the Indiana Pacers eviscerate the Oklahoma City Thunder in Game 6 of the 2025 NBA Finals. OKC got up to a 10-2 run and just kept looking back the rest of the way. And here we are. So when we first started, DMing, when we found out you were available to do this show, I was like, man, it's really good to have you on this show. You said you were either going to be really, really happy or really, really sad. Where are you at right now, Tyler, after this game? Where are your range of emotions?
One of the good things about blowouts is it gives you a lot of time to sit with the result before the game is even over. And so you get to work through some emotions.
Which emotions did you work through, sir? This is a therapy session is what this is.
Bewilderment emotion, is rage. Confusion, I guess, isn't really an emotion. Feeling like the ground was falling out from under me, and also somehow the ceiling was pushing down on me, but the ceiling, like it was like I was just getting shoved down as hard as possible through a never-ending black pit. You know what I mean? And so it wasn't a great time, I wouldn't say. As a Thunder fan, it's not what I would call fun.
Mm-hmm.
But Game 7, baby. As I said, Game 7. And so, what a terrible, disastrous performance by the Thunder. And I really am at this point blown away when TJ McConnell misses a shot.
Yeah. Okay. I thought there was more to that. I'm sorry. Okay. That was the only monologue. I thought there was going to be like a 3-minute answer of despair.
No, I mean, I'm trying to not go there just yet, because that way lies madness.
Okay.
But
how about I just read you some stats really quickly and let's just see where it goes, right? Okay.
That sounds so great. Yes, please.
Right. So, first player that just played like boo boo was one Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 21 points. 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 8 turnovers.
Yeah, the turnovers.
What did you think about his game, sir?
Not good enough. The entire Thunder offense to a man pretty much, just way too casual with the ball. So many silly turnovers. You let McConnell pick off the outlet the moment he comes in. You know you need to be aware of him and that he's going to be trying to do stuff like that from the moment he checks into the game. That something like that happens so immediately was, another in a long line of red flags for tonight.
What was weird, the game was so weird because, I mean, the Thunder get in on this 10-2 run and they're balling. I put in the Real Ones group chat. This is how you open a closeout game. Right.
That's what I thought too.
Right?
My notes,
2 minutes. No one. It was one of those things where It was one of those things where no one responded, and then 2 minutes later it's a tie game, and I just go, "Oh shit!" Right. So you get there, right, and then OKC plays terribly through the first quarter, but I'm like, okay, all right, it's fine. They're only down 3. Like it's cool, right? It's whatever, right? There's Halliburton has that calf injury that could I don't know how it's not morphed into something else, but we're right there, right?
It's 3 points.
It's a 3-point. The avalanche happens.
It's nothing.
And then the second quarter happens, and then I'm talking as the lead gets larger and larger. I'm talking myself back into. I mean, the Thunder, they still got a shot at this. Okay, it's only a 10-point game. Only a 10-point game. Don't know how they're in this, right? Then it gets like, it's just a 16-point game. That's not bad. It's fine. It's fine. And then it gets to 18. I'm like, I mean. It's not insurmountable, right? And then Ben Shepherd hits the buzzer beater.
I mean when Lionel hit the 3 there, I was shocked and amazed. I think that's the first 3 he's hit all series. Maybe I'm using purely my brain, which is mush at this point, and so I have no stats in front of me. I'm probably wrong. But yeah, when he hit that and turned around like he was Steph afterwards, I did start to think, it might not be the Thunder's night. It was just, the avalanche started and there was nothing defensively. There wasn't enough at the point of attack from any of the defenders to keep the Pacers from getting into their little blend and getting downhill and, pulling people and everything like that. They shot the ball great. And they were getting to every single 50-50 ball. It feels like this entire series, it's felt like if there's somehow a loose ball, whether it's like off a Thunder deflection or not, it is going to wind up in the hands of a Pacer. And that Pacer is going to hit a 3 that makes me sad. And I don't love that, but I mean, this Pacers team is just like,
can we just finally just say what they are right now? They're incredible, bro. Like
they're incredible.
I just felt like this series, and by the way, Lionel has, he had 3 threes coming into this game, so put some respect on his name.
I mean, thanks for adding insult to injury there. I appreciate you looking that up so quick.
I got you, big dog. So this series is so weird. By the way, one of the more entertaining series that we've had, probably the most entertaining.
If I didn't have any skin in the game, I would be on top of the world. This is incredible.
Especially like we can all agree that the parity finals have been absolutely terrible for the most part, right? The second apron finals since we've had last year, Boston Mavericks were not great. And then we had Nuggets Heat, which was just, I don't think anybody watched the last 2 games of that series. You could just prove me wrong if you want to, but I think a lot of people even in the Ringer didn't watch the rest of that. But then you have this series, right, where, I mean, Indiana is that they're basically, you get the same statement. Oh, they've been the best. Both teams have been the best team since January 1st, right? You get that, and these are both hot teams. And then we get into this series. Indiana wins game 1, which is you were in the building for that. I'm surprised you're still standing. And then you still have like, oh, it's fine. Like, okay, OKC. You kept talking yourself back into OKC just being the better team all series. Sure. And now I'm not sure. Like now I'm just like, I think, because when I was at game 5, it was very clear, head and shoulders, when OKC turns it on, they're head and shoulders better than this team. And then all of a sudden, like, we get a dud like this, and this seems to be OKC's postseason, right? Like, when they're on, but they're also, and I said this in the last real ones, they're susceptible to these types of games, right? I think about the game 1 against Denver with the buzzer beater, and I'm thinking about this game as well.
Well,
and game 1 of the series
against Denver, the game 6 against Denver was messy. And then even game, I mean, you know,
they're susceptible to playing down. It seems
for sure. I mean, they gentlemen sweep the Wolves, but even in game 3, the Wolves torch them by like 40 some, right? I mean, I can't.
Yeah.
So no, they are absolutely weirdly capable of laying these eggs. I think it generally happens on the road whenever not a single role player can get anything going from beyond the arc. I mean, the 3-point shooting has been a disaster this series, save game 2 and game 5 for the Thunder. On the road, things get really chilly on that end sometimes. And if they're not getting enough stops on the other end to keep the Pacers from getting out and running, then things can get it makes the Pacers are the type of team where it makes total sense to me that a game like this could happen. The weird thing is that I just thought that the Thunder were going to have more fight when they had an opportunity, whether or not, yes, they got the game 7, you have that to fall back on, but to have a chance to close somebody out at any point and to not take advantage of that, or not just not take advantage of it, to just shit the bed, right? Like that's the weird thing. But this is what the Thunder are. They've never ever made anything easy. Not throughout the entire course of their existence. You know what I mean? Like things tend to be a grind, and I'm nervous as hell, but also very excited to see what a game 7's like in Oklahoma City with that fan base. And then just, how does the second youngest team in finals history respond to something like this? Can they close it out, or will the Pacers continue to be the great undead? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
I don't know. They've done such a good job. Like tonight, they just completely erased Holmgren. Jesus, 2 of 9, 4 points. There was I texted Cliff on the side after that missed. Was it the missed alley oop at the first half?
The missed alley oop was like the final nail in my hope coffin tonight. Like when I saw that happen, I was like, oh, well, this game is over. It was that's one of those plays where when you see that, you're like, larger things are at work here. I don't understand how it's even possible to miss that, because it wasn't even contested. You know what I mean?
No, but Chet's another guy that is susceptible to things like this, right? He can have a dominant rebounding game, but like he also reminds you that he's the 3rd best player on a championship team at his best right now, right? Like
for sure.
I am the more I watch him during the postseason, the more I've been frustrated with his play, and I'm guessing that I'm just an Oklahoma City fan for the last 6 months.
Well, it's not like, I don't think I would describe Oklahoma City fans as being frustrated with his play, because I do think he's had some great moments in the postseason, and I think he's been a frustrating offensive player at times.
Sure.
That's like, I think he does so much defensively, in being able to be super switchy, but also protect at the rim and get these kind of crazy closeouts that he should never ever be able to get to the corner, but somehow he does. I think he's shown a lot there during the playoffs. He has not shown that he can be a consistent shot maker. Obvious. Like it's been
how nervous are you when he goes to the free throw line with the game on the line? How nervous are you?
I'm not, which is, I probably should be, but I'm not that. Like he he had those misses at the end of game 1 of the Nuggets series. He's come back from there and he had a great game 7 in that series. And, I think being able to play off of Hartenstein and help at the rim and stuff was a big part of them being able to neutralize Jokic enough to get out of that series. But I am completely with you that when the jumper looks like it did tonight,
it could be a weird looking jumper, right? Like it's a weird looking jump shot. So when he's not on, you just blame the form some type of way, shape or form, right? You just like, why are you doing that way?
I always feel great when it's like when it touches his hands and it's going up immediately. If there's any kind of pause of any kind, and sometimes it just takes him a little bit to load up. He hasn't, like, it's, this is his second year playing in the NBA ultimately. Like, I think he'll continue to speed that up as he gets older. But right now it is, sometimes it can take him a little while to get that thing off. And it's not, it can't against this Pacers defense whenever they're really flying around. A lot of times you don't have that amount of time to be able to get a 3 off. And, so I'm with you on there needs to be more from him.
I want to talk about J-Dub because I was at game 5, the best game of his career. It garnered so many different comparisons and some weird comparisons. Like I think about the Scottie Pippen comparison and I'm like, guys, let's relax. Come on. Like I think it's almost like I feel like it's almost a diss for J-Dub to get that comparison this early in his career. I don't know if you feel this way.
But wait, are you saying like he doesn't deserve the? You're saying he doesn't deserve the Pippen thing? Or are you saying he could be more than a Pippen?
I think that it's an oversimplification to call him a Scottie Pippen at this point.
I think it's for sure. Lazy.
I think it's a very lazy comparison. No disrespect to Scottie Pippen, Hall of Famer, but I think about in this point, like I think that J-Dub sees himself as a number 1. And I'm not trying to make any controversy here or say anything about like his dynamic within the offense, but I think that he sees himself in like he can be in that mold one day, right? Like I think that talk to people around him, he's one of those guys that's like at halftime, he's hitting people up like, yo, can you send me this clip of what I did? Was that a foul? Like he's really, really obsessed with the game in a way that I feel like he is a great teammate and he is, he served Shea as a number 2 in this particular role. But I think if there was another team, he would take on that mantle of a number 1. And I think he has bigger. I think he has bigger goals than just being someone's sidekick, is what I would say. Right? Like I think that, and I'm not saying that he wants to leave OKC. That's why I don't want it to be like controversial or anything. But to call him Scottie Pippen this early basically puts a ceiling on what I think he wants to be. And I think that's why it's an oversimplification, because I feel like we've bestowed Shea as this one person and we've already put him as like the sidekick role, when I think his game doesn't look like that.
No, I mean, I think the dream is it's 1A, 1B, right? That they can both,
and I think eventually it's going to be that.
Yeah, I think that they can both take over the offense at different times. You can stagger them or you can play them together. I mean, obviously a lot of the success the Thunder found in the back half of this series is whenever the two of them are in action together. You know what I mean? Like that. And so and this is really, one of the first times they're exploring that a lot. In big moments. So I'm excited to see just where that partnership goes from here, because they're getting used to it now. And I think that can be something that's brutal for people to deal with going forward. He's not somebody I worry about like asking out or anything like that, but I agree that his talent level like at its peak is that of like a dude that could be a number 1 for sure.
For sure. Like I think it's like it'll be like the Jalen Brown, the 2 J's dynamic in Jason Tatum, Jalen Brown dynamic in Boston. That's what I think it's trending towards. So to call like him Scottie Pippen is just it's just I feel like it's lazy. That's all it is,
to me it just felt like sometimes I just get all the comps are just sort of exhausting. You know what I mean? It's just like let's just talk about what he did. We don't have to be like, is he the next? Like, you know what I mean? Like it feels.
But I think that also goes through the thing of like where we're at right now with superstars, or like we're in a transitional phase of the NBA. So like similar to how we were in the mid-90s where we're like, who's this next MJ? Who's this next person here? I think we're doing, and we didn't learn from those mistakes. We're doing, we're just not watching the game and just saying, oh, this is the first J-Dub or this is the first Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Like we just won't do that.
Right.
We're trying to find the next as a coping mechanism because of the people that are about to leave this league. That's what I think is happening right now.
Yeah, I mean that's interesting. I would generally agree with you on that. I think that the NBA is terrified of what's going to happen when this older generation finally bows out and retires. But yeah, I have a hard time with needing a comp for something like that, like to respond to a 40 ball with
he's Scottie Pippen.
Is this guy the net? You know what I mean? It's just sort of because I've having listened to a bunch of podcasts, I know that Scottie never scored that. I don't know if Scottie ever scored 40, much less in the playoffs. I think the highest he had that I heard on a pod was like 37 when he was in Houston or something, maybe 38, but never in a finals.
Okay. Hey, let's put some respect on Scottie Pippen's name, sir.
Am I wrong?
Scottie Pippen's career high is 47 points, which he scored on February 18th, 1997 against the Denver Nuggets.
Then maybe I'm thinking the playoffs. Maybe that's what I was hearing.
Let me look at this. Let me look that up. Playoff career high is 37.
That's what I was thinking.
In Game 3 of the 1999 first round series against the Lakers while playing for the Houston Rockets. There you go. Okay, yeah.
Okay, that's what I was thinking of. Sorry. But yeah, I mean, I'm with you that it feels like not having to. It feels like you're trying to not think of something that is actually constructive to talk about whenever that sort of thing gets brought up.
Yeah, I feel like it's just, we got a lot of people that are smart in the NBA that watch a lot of basketball that's saying this, so that's what's disappointing. But it's fine. It is what it is. What do you want to go? Do you have a thought to that, or?
Well, no, I was just going to say, like, I'm worried that we're not talking enough about the Pacers. I mean, they were so amazing tonight. I don't want to.
We're only 24 minutes in, buddy.
Okay, you're right. Sorry.
Okay, you know what I mean? All right. What impressed you about the Pacers? What was going to be my next question?
Oh, that they didn't let starting tight hurt them. I generally in these games, you're prepared for the haymaker right off the bat. You know what I mean? And the 10-2 start for the Thunder kind of lulled me to sleep a little bit, and then after that it just became lights out for them. It was just super impressive that it didn't matter if the starters were in there or the bench. You know what I mean? Like there was defensively, they've been so impressive this series. I mean, to turn the Thunder over as much as they did, because the Thunder are not a team that turns the ball over either. And for them to turn the Thunder over as much as they did, that's just on this stage in such a big game is just super duper impressive.
I can't believe that all these teams didn't take Pascal Siakam seriously to trade for him and that he landed on this team.
Yeah.
There were a lot of teams that talked themselves out of trading for Pascal Siakam, including one in my backyard. And he's so good. He's so just slithery in his game. He can get boards. He's not your traditional big, but he's also not like your traditional like KG big. Here I go doing the comparison things, make myself look like an idiot. But like he's such a beautiful watch, right? And how he goes about through his post game, how he kind of just find space for layups, right? Just there were at least 3 or 4 times down the block on this game where he was just like, just slithered his way for a layup here. Got a dunk right. That dunk was fucking incredible, bro.
Yeah,
that was a backbreaker. that was nuts.
No, the back was already broken. We were already on the ground, but it was incredible.
Yeah, was that your 3rd or 4th tier when he dunked that?
I mean, thugs don't cry, but so I'm not sure what you mean, but I certainly I didn't like it. No, I had to eat a banana halfway through the game. I was so dehydrated from all the tears, to be honest. Okay, so it was pretty rough.
What? No, but like the Pacers though, I've been very impressed. I've been very impressed with how they keep up pace, and that's been the fun thing to see, right? Because one of the things going into this series that I thought was Oklahoma City, they're just as athletic. They can run with people. They'll be fine right here. That was one of the real big reasons why a lot of us picked the Thunder. I picked them in 5. One of the reasons why is because I was like, oh, they can run with them. They can play at their own pace. They have the better player. I thought in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, still believe that. But the Pacers have done such a good job of making the pace their own. They didn't do that in Game 5. But every game that they have done that, they have been successful in, right? Even in Game 4, which was like they fumbled that, and I think that if they lose this series, they're going to go back to Game 4 and saying we had this series in the bag.
I hear you on that, but the Thunder can say the same thing about Game 1. Like that series was probably supposed to be 2-2 coming out of those games, and the Thunder was supposed to win Game 1, and the Pacers were supposed to win Game 4. So to me, it's just kind of like all things are equal after that. Like both teams.
I get you. I get you. But Game 4 was just one of those games. Yeah, the basketball gods had other ideas. Because it was later in the series.
I'm not sure that that's a compelling argument for me. But
which game got you more depressed?
Game 1 was far and away the most depressed. The Game 1 loss was way harder than tonight's loss or the Game 3 loss, because that's the Game 3 loss. Like, the Thunder were obviously in that, but it didn't feel like necessarily, that it was some game where they, looked like clearly the better team or whatever. Like in Game 1, the Thunder just looked like the better team for the vast majority of the game. And then stuff slips through your fingers, and it's the first game you lose home court advantage immediately. You know what I mean? Like it was just that was especially difficult because you thought too that they would have learned their lesson in the Denver series to not let something like that happen again. And so it happens again tonight. A blowout. It sucked, but I have always felt that a blowout is easier to deal with than a game, like a close game. I would much rather just like the lead be so big, I'd stop even thinking about it as a number. And
take us through your night. What were you doing throughout the game? Take us through your night through the game. What were you doing? Like how? Like okay, the 10-2. Give me from 10-2 on. Give me your range of emotions. What were you doing?
10-2. I start trying not to write the piece that I'm going to have to write whenever the series is over.
Okay.
I 10-2. I'm like, just chill out. You don't need to jinx it. Calm down. Yes, great start. What you want to see, chill out. After that, there's that point where they it wasn't the first time they pulled Shai, but I think it was maybe the second time they pulled Shai. The Pacers going like a 9-0 run like that. And that was a point where I was like, okay, we can't just have things falling off the table completely when he's gone. One of the good things about this Thunder team has been that when Jalen's out there, they can sort of keep pace. You know what I mean?
A lot of that has to do with their defense, right? Like you're talking about Game 5. Yeah. When they lock in on a defense or lock in on an offense, they can shut that shit all the way down. They did that in Game 5 whenever Shea was off the court, you didn't even notice. But obviously, that was a better scoring game from J-Dub. But the defensive effort was what was the catalyst for those offensive plays.
No, for sure, for sure. I mean, it's the Pacers. When I saw at the end of the first quarter that the Pacers didn't have a single turnover, at that point you're like, okay, like they're here in a different way tonight. You know what I mean? Like the Thunder's defense is not doing the things that it usually does. To have no turnovers at the end of the first is just weird for this Thunder team, right? Like it, you know. And so, yeah, at that point, and then as McConnell continues, like gets in there and just begins his onslaught, you're just like, you're not even. I wasn't even exasperated at this point because I would have been shocked if it didn't happen. If McConnell comes out in game 7 and only scores like 5 points, I will be so surprised. To me, at this point, this guy is good. Like, if he doesn't score,
you know what he reminds me of? He reminds me of like back in my fandom days. Remember when JJ Barea just fucking torched the Lakers? Just totally. Like inexplicably just fucking torched him. Where
like Brendan Haywood pushed him out of the sky, right?
bro, he was running. He was Steve Nash.
No, Andrew Bynum. What am I saying? Sorry. Yeah, Andrew Bynum.
Yeah. He was so good that Laker fans were like, yeah, you shouldn't have did that, Andrew. Like, you shouldn't have did it.
No, Barea, yes. Just as maddening. But yeah, no, whenever
they might give, you know how JJ Barea, like when shit went down in Puerto Rico, like Mark Cuban gave him a whole plane to help out his home country.
Yeah.
I feel like if TJ McConnell does something like that, he is owed that. So whatever the equivalent of that, he is owed that.
Herb Simon's got to send a ball plane to Pittsburgh or something.
Absolutely, bro. He needs that. That's what he earned. He earned that.
If the Pacers win the finals, if you wanted to tell me that TJ McConnell was the MVP, I would tell you, no, he's not, but I like where your head's at. You know what I mean? Like
he's in the running. He's in the running. Certainly in the running. I think it's Siakam if they do win, but certainly McConnell's in. I think McConnell is he in the conversation though? To
McConnell
be the second,
be number 2.
Would he be in the conversation with Jerry West as like the second guy ever to win a Finals MVP on a losing team?
I mean, absolutely not.
I tried to bait Howard the other day. He wasn't going for it.
I mean, if he goes for 70 in game 7, then let's talk. I don't know. I think Shea or Dub will have done enough if the Thunder win. Can you imagine just the basketball internet would just explode? It would be unbelievable if that. I mean,
hey, even if the Thunder won it and TJ McConnell got the MVP, I think it would stop the celebration for like at least 30 seconds. Like, yo, what the fuck?
Sure.
Wait, what?
No, for sure. They'd lock the doors and not let the media out. They'd be like, we're not, y'all can go, and we know that it wasn't one of y'all 8 or whatever, however many they picked that voted. You know what I mean? I think that's
everybody else, all 200 of you could leave except for these 8 motherfuckers right here. Oh man. What do you want to see from your team in Game 7, bro? Like, other than a win, like, how do they do it? How do they do it?
The point of attack defense needs to be a lot better. They need to not when the Pacers get the ball bopping around and get into their flow and get foot in the paint and start kicking it out and making the defense rotate and make decisions on the move. That's whenever they look great, right?
Yeah.
And the way to deal with that is to push the defense up, have the offense start higher on the floor, have the ball handler who's initiating everything to have to take a lot longer to get up the floor in the first place, and then just get into the action, right? Like when this Thunder defense has been at its best, it's pushing up, sometimes 94 feet, depending on the person.
But it's Luke Dort kicking Halliburton's ass.
Yeah, it's like high pickup points where you've got, Hartenstein's showing on screens that are at half court, right?
Yes.
Like it's an exhaustive ranginess that does not stop.
Well, that's how they beat the Timberwolves, right? When Ant was literally just glued to Lou Dort. And whenever they would get off a screen, just super glue, Velcro. That's what they need. That's really what they need. And they can do that.
They don't.
They have.
I think the reason I'm not more concerned is that they don't need to do anything that they haven't done a ton this postseason already.
Yeah.
If the defense plays the way it can, it's going to be a game 7 in the finals. I imagine it's going to be one of the most physical games of the last 25 years, right? Like that's just generally how these things go. Especially when you consider the two teams that are playing now and how much ground these defenses are having to cover against both of these offenses. So I think it'll be a wrestling match, and I think that the Thunder's best chance is to do what they've done when they've kind of slowed the offense down before it can even start. And you've got the second pass in the possession happening at like the 6-second mark. And then whoever's hands it hits, they got to make a tough choice. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of when, and then whenever the Thunder have had the role players actually hit from the outside, if they have those two things going for them, then I always like their chances. You know what I mean? But if they play defense like they did tonight, Indy's leaving happy. You know what I mean? If they shoot like they did tonight, Indy's leaving happy.
This is the first Game 7 since 2016, and only the fourth Game 7 in the NBA Finals in the last 30 years. The last 3, I believe, were the 2010 Lakers Celtics,
right?
2013 Spurs Heat, 2016 Cavs Warriors.
Yeah.
All they have in common, all of these teams that I just named were down 3-2 in the series and came back and won. Lakers, they did it at home. Heat, they did it at home. Cavs did it on the road in Oakland. And you got the Pacers going into
I don't know. I don't think that just because other teams have done that. It doesn't.
I'm just throwing you stuff. I'm just trying to see what I'm just trying to see if you're gonna stay strong or not.
I hear you. I love it. I'm just trying to be honest with you. That one doesn't necessarily make my hair stand up. What makes my hair stand up is like that Neesmith couldn't miss tonight, and that Obi Toppin is, Boris Diaw now, and TJ McConnell is the greatest player in the history of the game. Those are the things that are scaring me right now.
Okay. It's funny because I wrote this in the piece, but like the OKC has a chance to, if they win this series, they have a chance to be a dynasty. And I'm sorry to use that word. I'm just really, I'm trying to see if I can break you. I'm really just trying to see if I can break you.
I'm not going to wood this whole time.
They have a chance to do that, right?
Sure.
And it's league that is actively trying to not have dynasties.
Yeah.
If they lose this, it seems like a missed opportunity, but they still have the guys that are their core guys are going to be on the roster next year and can compete, could win another 60-something games.
Sure.
That being said, how does that make you feel going into a Game 7?
I'm trying to actively not think about
that
it could be that
it could be the biggest dub or the biggest disappointment in the state of Oklahoma's history.
If they lose, massive disappointment, right? For sure.
Tell me the emotion of like that you guys are summoning right now. I feel like the ghost of Harden, the ghost of Durant, ghost of Westbrook, all in one.
The way that I feel the weight of that era is that's why I don't want to have any dynasty discussion until
let's get one.
Let's have one, right? And so it's because I know how fragile this stuff is and how quickly it can fall apart. I'm not going into the Game 7 thinking like burst a mini, baby, like whatever. It's these they may never get back here. I'm not thinking about it like that necessarily. That said, no matter what happens in Game 7, Chet and Dub have opportunities to sign their first rookie extensions in this offseason. It seems like everybody imagines that they will, and then the Thunder will have at least that core together for a long time. A long time in current NBA years, at least, right? And so, and none of them are redundant with each other. I don't think, like, they all serve their purpose and bring different things to the table. And it's clear they all like winning. And this is a situation where, as long as people stay healthy, you're going to win a lot of basketball games. You know what I mean? So that's kind of where I am. But I mean, definitely, like, I'll be terrified the whole the entire game, right? Like, it'll be you've been through a Game 7, as you just said. You know what I mean? I'm sure it's just it'll I think it'll age me, but I'm looking forward to it.
Where are you going to watch? You going to watch alone, you think? Or are you going to just how are we planning on doing this?
I don't know. If I'm, I don't know if I'm going to go there for it, or if I'll just be out here. If I'm out here, I'll just watch it by myself, because I can't be trusted around other people during these sorts of things. Like, I even if someone tried to talk to me, it's just all white noise up here. You know what I mean?
I just got to say, man, like, I was there Game 5, and it probably was the loudest environment I've ever heard in my life. To the point where during halftime, I went, like, downstairs, and I needed a moment. Like, I needed to just sit down and kind of just gain my composure.
It's a different beast, that place. And it's not just loud, but it's loud all the time. Even when it's not, you know, up over like 106 decibels, right? Like, even when it's not way up. I mean, it got to 111, I saw during Game 5. Royce Young, who has been to damn near every Thunder home game since the team's existence, said it was the biggest pop he ever heard in the stadium whenever Jalen hit that sort of like floating right-hander that like went way, way high off the glass. He said that was like the biggest pop that place had ever produced. And so even on the TV you could tell. But yeah, I mean, Game 1 and Game 2, it was both games. The noise swallows you, man. It just surrounds your head like a helmet, and you just can't really get away from it. It's just, yeah. I
had a hilarious story, and I'll end it on here because I don't know how much we can talk. Maybe we can talk more. We'll see after. But
whatever. Yeah, I'm good. Whatever you want to do.
All right. Yo, I saw my guy, Marcus Peters. He used to play for the Ravens and the Chiefs. And he was at the game. And I had no idea that he was a Thunder fan. Mind you, he is from West Oakland.
I didn't know this.
He is from West Oakland, California. Known him all of my life, right? So I squint and I look and I'm like, is that Marcus?
Yeah.
And he's like, he says, man, I've been waiting years for this. Right? He has a Chet Holmgren jersey on that he bought on site, has the Thunder hat, 2025 finals hat, and a rally towel underneath it, right?
Marcus Peters.
And he said, I've been waiting a long time for this, right? And I was like, are you sure that this is your team? He was like, yeah, man. You know, people like the Warriors where we from. People like this. No, I like Oklahoma City.
Incredible.
And he flew in from Oakland to Oklahoma City same day, and then flew back out the next morning. Had the time of his life, and I'm like, yo, what are you doing?
That makes
he made all the friends too. He came by himself dolo. It was behind the Pacers bench. It was slapping hands with everybody. It was awesome.
Dude, I can't tell you how happy that makes me. That is one of my favorite things I've heard all postseason.
You said I had to be here. I've been waiting years for this moment.
That's incredible. I can't, Logan. That's going to make Thunder fans so happy. That's going to be
somebody from the Bay.
Marcus, be there for Game 7. If you're listening, please go back.
Someone buy him a ticket. Someone buy him his airfare, get him a ticket, pull him up, you know? And put him behind the Pacers bench.
That's fantastic. Everyone, I feel like everybody was making the same jokes, before the series started about like, oh, you can't wait to see the celebrities that show up for these two teams, blah, blah, blah.
Lil Yachty pulled up.
I was so surprised. I was pretty pumped up that we got Yachty in the building.
To be fair, it's really hard to get to Oklahoma City.
It's going to be hard.
Not from LA because you guys have direct flights, but from the Bay Area, it's really hard. It's really hard.
No, there's some spots in America where it's difficult to get back to the middle for sure.
Yeah. How long does it take for you to get to Fort Gibson
from Oklahoma City?
No, from where you're at right now.
From here? Oh, I mean, I'm flying into Tulsa.
You're taking 6 planes to get into Tulsa.
I'm taking. There is an American flight that will take you direct to Tulsa from LAX. And then, you're looking at like 3-hour drive to Fort Gibson after that.
Okay.
It's like rural Northeast Oklahoma.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had a good time in Oklahoma. I don't want to diss it. I had a really good time in Oklahoma.
I know you. I was happy to hear that. You've been very complimentary of your time there. So
yeah, man.
I'm glad the city.
I dropped a Brahms reference pre-pod.
You did,
and your eyes
appreciated that.
Yeah, shout out Brahms. I didn't get to get my Brahms. I didn't get to get my ice cream.
I feel Brahms? Bad. If people take nothing else from this,
we talked a lot of shit. There's going to be stuff that's edited in and out of this, but
I know.
We're here.
Victoria, you got to do what you got to do. If you want to keep the Brahms stuff in, I love you forever. But you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. Hey, Victoria, keep the Brahms reference ins like it's Zaxby's or something. Okay, it's that level of importance.
The next time you go there, get the bag of burgers.
I've already ate at Brahms. I already know what the hell to do.
You know what the bag of burgers is, though. It's one of the greatest fast food deals in America,
bro. It's not quite cookout, but it's there.
See, I can't speak to that, but I can just, I'm glad that you had a good time.
We got to do this more often.
Yeah, man, we should.
Let's do it more often.
Please. It's always great talking to you. Always great seeing you.
Oh, question. No, before we get out of here, I want to do this actually, because I want to actually do this. I need to ask you a question that's really important. It has nothing to do with this series between me and you, and this is going to go on the pod for the record. What the fuck happened to my episode of Parker Tiles that we worked really hard on?
It's still out there. It's in existence. It's going to come out at some point. Corey McConnell.
Is it actually?
It is in existence. I've seen. We have the full thing, and it's good. But it was.
That's what I thought.
As you remember, it was chaos. And
Victoria was there too. It was so bad. It was wild.
We need time to whittle this shit down a little bit, and the video team is a swamp. But it will. I swear to you, on our friendship, it will come out at some point.
At least in a group chat or something. Like, dog, the streets need to see this.
We'll make it happen. It'll go. I'll get in Corey's ear after the season, and we'll get.
Do you want to tell him the plot real quick though, just so we could just like promote it real quick?
The only thing that I remember is that I helped you get onto the Heatles with me, and that you were immediately extremely confrontational with Spo. And I was, I think I don't remember after that. I just remember you went at it with Spo immediately.
And then I was giving you life advice. And we went on for an hour.
We got a lot of stuff. We got a lot.
I think one of us cried or something. It was great. Somebody has to,
Well, at a certain point, like we started fighting we probably were like arguing with each other for a good like 20 minutes.
I think that the video team thought we were actually fighting. I think that's what happened.
No, I definitely think that they were like, because you come over and take my hat off at one point and you throw it.
Yeah,
and
I did that.
And I remember thinking like, oh, this is good. Like we're playing this nice and real here. But I do remember thinking, I hope that they're not worried.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that needs to come out. But in the meantime,
it'll come out. I promise.
All right. Tyler Parker, pride of Fort Gibson, Oklahoma. Thanks so much for coming on the program, buddy.
Dude, big fan, as you know, love the pod. And always a pleasure.
I'm getting ready to do a pod special. Okay, that has been another edition of Real Ones. That is Tyler Parker. You can catch him all over the Ringer site, including Real Ones in the very near future. Me, Raja, Howard, motherfucking Beck are back on Tuesday. In the meantime, also, you can tap in on realonesmailbag@gmail.com, realonesmailbag@gmail.com, realonesmailbag@gmail.com. We'll be answering your mailbag questions on Tuesday. Tap in, all the shits. Bye.